So,
Yeah.
hi, Oreet.
Hello.
Hello. And hi, we've got Ava and Melissa, and we'd love everybody who's watching to chime in and say hello. Share this with your groups, share this on your feed, share it with your friends. And yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, lots of loves. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oreet is the host today, and I am her guest, so I'm gonna let her take the wheel.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and listening to this really, really important conversation. So, we're calling this Get Oriented to Orit's Roots. And I'm doing this live in light of a comment that I don't have the right to belly dance. So I found that really interesting. And I truly hope that this conversation is going to be enlightening, if not already, enhance your understanding of the history and diversity of the Arab world. All right, so first I want to get caught up, and I want you guys to get caught up on the facts of 2021 with a factfulness quiz. Now, really funny, Jessica and I went through this, and we were both shocked at how wrong we were. But it's not about getting these answers right, but more so to open your eyes on what the state of the world is right now. So, we'd love for you to play along with us. So, Jessica, if you can share that factfulness quiz, that would be great.
All right, let me share my screen.
No problem.
Okie dokie.
And here's a tip. The world isn't that awful, just so you know.
Yeah. The what we're gonna give you a little tip to cheat a little bit, and that is, you might be thinking of the world the way it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, and you might not be that old even, but still you might have that misconception just because it's out of date. So, who
Yeah.
wants to do it?
Okay.
COVID quiz? No. Global knowledge. Okay, everybody, are you playing along? I want to know. I want to know if you're playing along. Give me a something. Give me some kind of indication. Get out your pen and paper. It's fun. Seriously, do it. So, number 1, in all low-income countries across the world today, how many girls finish primary school? Is it 20%, 40%, or 60% that finish primary school? What do you think? Write it down or read. I don't know. What should we do for choosing one? Should we see if people can, whoever's the first to say it in the group, I'm gonna
Yes.
say that's the answer. So whoever is first to respond, now of course I have to go back to the video. So whoever is the first to respond to that, that is what we are going to use.
Whoop. Sorry about that.
That is all right. Let's see. I don't see the live video, so I'm not really able to track the responses. So if you want to let me know if we got a response.
Let me see. Just trying to lower the volume here. Here we go. Response. So far, none yet.
So far, none yet. No one has any idea about. Oh, wait, let's see. Let's see. B. Thank you.
Okay.
Lowest number. All right.
Lowest number.
B was the first person answering. I'm going to go with that. Next. Okay. Number 2. Where does the majority of the world income live? The world population live? Low income countries, middle income countries, high income countries. The first person to answer is the answer we are putting in. Now, why are we talking about this? I'm going to give you a second to answer. Why are we talking about this? It is because it's impossible to understand the world today if you still think the world is the way it was when your grandparents were children.
Bingo.
Bingo.
A.
A, the majority of the world population. Thank you for your answer, Carolyn. All right, first answer gets put in. In the last 20 years, the proportion of world population living in extreme poverty has almost doubled, remained more or less the same, been cut almost in half. First answer, first answer.
Middle.
Who we got? No, that was for the previous answer. The
Okay.
previous question. Let's see, everybody. If you answer these questions, I'm gonna convince Ori to give you something. Did you know that, Ori? I'm convincing everyone who answers. I don't care if you get it right or wrong. Everyone who puts in an answer, we're gonna send you a something. You're going to love it. It's the best something you've ever had. Promise. So, in the last 20 years, okay, I'm not getting an answer here, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. So I get the something. I'm going to pretend I don't know what I'm talking about. Nah, I'm going to say that one. Just going to pretend I don't know the right answer. I chose the wrong answer. What is the life expectancy of the world today? Anybody? 50, 60, or 70 years. Life expectancy in the world today. What is it? 50, 60, 70. And the answer, Oreet, just give me one.
I'm going to say 60.
60. Okay. Next up, there are 2 billion children in the world today, aged 0 to 15. How many children will there be in the year 2100 according to the United Nations? I don't know. Let's see an answer. Let's see. I seem to have lost my feed. That's fine. So I'm just going to say bloobity bloobity blue. There are 2 billion now. Let's say 4 billion. Next. The UN predicts that by 2100, the world population will have increased to another 4 billion people. What is the main reason? There will be more children. There will be more adults. There will be more very old people. Do you think it's children? If you're concerned about population, you're probably going to say, whoa, there's so many more children. So let's go ahead and click that one. Sure. Next. How did the number of deaths per year from natural disasters change over the last 100 years? So this is a big issue a lot of people are concerned about because we have so much climate emergency. So what are we going to say? Oreet, what do you want to say?
I'm going to say maybe let's remain about the same.
Okay. Alrighty. There are 7 billion people in the world today. Where do they live? This one I'm just going to go real fast because this one is so hard to figure out. So let's say it is, I'm going to just do that one. All right. How many of the world's 1-year-old children today have been vaccinated against some disease? Let's see. I have lost my feed, and so I can't read your answers right now. Please chime in with answers, but let's say it's 50. All right. Okay. How many 30-year-old men, 30-year-old men have spent 10 years in school on average? How many years have women of the same age spent on average in school? 3, 6, or 9? I know a lot of people say 6, so let's just go with 6. All right, next. And in 1996, tigers, giant pandas, and black rhinos were all listed as endangered. How many of these 3 species are more critically endangered today? 2, none, or 1? I think everybody is going to say 2. How many people in the world have some access to electricity? 20, 50, or 80%? In most cases, I've found that people guess 50. So we're going to say that. And global climate experts believe that over the next 100 years, the average temperature will get warmer, remain the same, or get colder. Most people get this right. It'll remain the same. It'll get warmer. Sorry. So let's see what we got there. Oh my God, 7%.
Whoa.
Okay, so you guys, I'm trying to get back into the feed where I can see everybody chatting and making comments. So I hope that you're making comments. So what did you think? Was that surprising to you? That, yeah, I really cannot find the feed anywhere. Oops. Is that surprising to you that that is so wrong? So let's see. 60% of girls in low-income countries finish primary school.
Wow.
That's 60% in low-income countries. The majority of the world population lives in middle-income countries. Middle income, okay? The proportion of the world population living in extreme poverty has almost halved in the last 20 years. Cut in half. Life expectancy of the world today, 70 years. There are 2 billion children today, 0 to 15. In 2100, there will also be 2 billion children because we don't actually have Malthusian population explosion. We don't. The UN predicts that by the 2100 we will have 4 billion more people. And that's because there's going to be adults, not more children. It's children growing up into adults. Number of deaths from natural disasters has decreased to less than half. And that is even though natural disasters are terrible. We've got plenty of natural disaster problems, but less than half of the deaths. Population, 1 billion Americas, 1 billion Europe, 1 billion Africa, 4 billion Australia and Asia. So that is different than what most people have in their mind. 80% of the world's 1-year-old children have received some sort of vaccine, which is amazing and wonderful.
That is.
30-year-old men on average have gotten 10 years of schooling on average. Women have gotten 9 years. 9 years. In 96, tigers, giant pandas, and black rhinos were all listed as endangered. How many of these 3 species are more critically endangered? None of them.
Wow.
Conservation works. How many people in the world have some access to electricity? It is 80%. So when you think about people in foreign countries that you think of as poor, you think of them as illiterate, you think of them as uneducated, you think of them as living in, with a wood floor, with a dirt floor and an outhouse. Sorry, it's not true. Global climate experts believe that over the next 100 years, the average temperature will get warmer. So that's one thing that we all kind of know. But the point of it is that most people, if you were playing along at home, you are imagining that we still live in the world of 40 years ago.
Right.
And it was bad. We grew up in a worse world than we have so many problems today, but in terms of human health and sustainable development, we're actually in better shape than most people assume. And I thought it would be really important to talk about that before we got into this conversation, because people need to know what world we're talking about.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So, Oreet, I also wanted to just share quickly
Yes.
the one little ditty about facts, and then we'll get back to the fun stuff for the more interesting stuff. No more quizzes.
Yes.
So, but can you see this?
Yep.
This is the decline in infant mortality from 1950 to 1995. And this is in there's a few different countries here, but Yemen, imagine the tragedy. 250 babies dying per 1,000 births. This is not good. All of these are bad, but look at it compared to where it was. And this isn't even recent. This is 95. Now, there's been war in Yemen recently that's caused some issues, but I don't know if it's thrown them off in this capacity so much. But if you just look at the overall trends, the world that you have in your mind might be in like 65 or 50. That's a very different world than it is today. And so I'm hoping that that quick look at facts can help people to understand that as Westerners, you might be trying your best to have a very open mind and be very an ally. But if you don't actually know that the people you're talking about are far more advanced, have a lot more agency, have a lot more self-determination than you think, and also have a lot more nuance and subtleties that you're not aware of, you might end up saying crap like what Oreet and I have seen, and it wasn't just one comment, numerous comments suggesting that if you do not follow a certain political frame of mind, you shouldn't be belly dancing.
Yep. Exactly.
I think is not cool. So Oreet, that's enough of my talking for the moment. I'll let you go back to
Sure.
the subject at hand.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jessica, so much for that. So, guys, I just wanted to give you my statement. So, I want to let you know that everyone, every human is valued, they're important, and everybody matters. Okay? And I'm super confused that dancers feel that we need to pick a side politically rather than support stopping violence, stopping the harm to people, and really promote peaceful reconciliation. In my book, if you denigrate a person or support some people who denigrates others based on their heritage, religion, their appearance, romantic partner, whatever, I don't have any time for you. Cool? I just want to be clear about that. right? For me, I judge people based on their behavior. If you are constructive, if you're kind-hearted, right? If you respect people, just respect universal human rights, then I will be your friend forever. Even if we disagree politically, that's totally cool. Let's just have respect for one another. And important, do your research too. Okay, so guys, did you guys know that I am Jewish of Arab heritage? Some people don't know that. Yeah? And today we're going to talk all about what that even means. What? You're Arab? What? You're Jewish? We're going to talk about it, all right? But guys, education is key, folks. I want you to do your research along with listening to
So
this.
we in our the first part of the conversation we had talked about this factfulness. So I'm going to put it in comments after, and we're only going to be on until around noon. But I'm going to put it in the comments so that everybody has a chance to look at these facts. We are going to be doing these meetings basically once a week for all of June, to give everyone a better understanding of issues of cultural appropriation,
Mhm.
heritage, gatekeeping. So there's going to be so much information. If you missed the first part because we had a snafu with the Zoom gremlin, it's cool. We'll catch you up. There's so
Okay.
much going on this month. So Oreet, you
Yes.
were about to talk about how the importance of hospitality when you're talking about traumatized people, and that basically there's been so much upheaval and in the region that we are talking about, that basically everyone who has roots in that region also has trauma.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes, so I just want to go into like, I get it. So, I was going into that I am Jewish Arab,
Yeah,
of
and
Arab.
we wanted to talk real quick about letting people feel welcome, just making sure everyone knows.
Yes, everyone is welcome, especially at Sharkey, and everyone is human, everyone is valued, important. Yes, cool. And that we were talking about that super confused about how we need to pick a side politically, right? Instead of just, saying, let's avoid this violence, let's harm reduction, let's work on peace. Cool. Um, so, yeah, we do have the luxury of social media, right? And everyone is able to express how they feel. I love that. I love that with social media. But what we're not having is real conversations face to face. And when
Mhm.
we do that, we can see the humanity in each other's eyes, right?
Mhm.
Right? And we also then can understand each other's narratives, why we came to the place we're in now, why we're in the situation we're in now. And once we notice that we have this commonality, then solutions can happen, God willing, and that we're all human, all human. Cool. Um, I want to talk about our diversity and commonalities. Okay, guys, did you know that there are many, many groups in the Middle East? Many groups, right? That come from Arab lands. Now, I want to talk about what I call an Arab land. I want you to separate religious affiliation with being Arab. I want you to look at who speaks the language. Okay? Uh, I call the Arab land where Aramaic and Arabic dialects are spoken. Okay? Now, who are these groups that speak this language? They are the Christians, the Muslims, the Druze, the Maronites, the Arameans, yeah, and the Jews. Even more that I'm still researching, yeah. That's one important commonality that we share. Okay, another commonality that we share is that our common ancestor is Abraham, right? Another commonality that we share with Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Baha'i, Druze, Samaritan, and many more is that we share the Noahide laws. We share that commonality. And what are they? Not to worship idols, not to curse God, not to commit murder, not to commit adultery, bestiality, sexual immorality, not to steal, not to eat flesh torn from a living animal, okay? And to establish courts of justice. So we guys, these are important things that we agree on. That this is our commonality. And this is much older, and to tell you the truth, much more important than borders within countries and around countries. Okay?
Yeah, that's a really old connection that we all share. I mean, literally back to Abraham.
Yeah.
If you were brought up in a religious environment of any kind, secular religious or, observant religious, you know that that matters.
Yep.
That we have shared values and we don't always get along with our siblings. You have a twin sister. I'm sure you
Yeah.
guys have had your share of fights, but the important thing is, you don't want to, think of how your great granddad times 40,000 Abraham would feel if he saw us fighting like this. He's going to be pissed.
Totally pissed. Totally pissed.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
not what they know. That's not,
Not
that's
what they wanted.
right. So now I'd like to talk about my roots and my family, okay? There have been many diasporas in this world, right? My family specifically fled their homeland of Israel, and they fled in the diaspora of when the Babylonians came, the captivity of the Babylonians, and that was in 586 BC. And
Hmm.
my family specifically went to Yemen. Yeah, there are other families, they went other places around the world. It's beautiful. That's why we have beautiful people now, diverse people. And my family stayed in Yemen for over 2,000 years, right?
Hmm.
And they kept their Jewish culture, their religion, their culture too, and they've adopted the culture of Yemen as well, right?
Hmm.
And they left Israel because they were persecuted due to religious affiliation,
Yeah.
not
And what
because
year
of
was
color.
that?
That was 586 BC.
So my family was the same.
Mhm.
Um, we have the same original country, and we, as far as we know, left around 33 AD. It's obviously not exact, and we went to Spain,
Yep,
and then we went that way. So we
yep,
got kicked out. We got chased out of everywhere we were.
yep.
And your group, oh, I see that my mother is here. Hi, mommy. I love you. Your group is really unique in that being isolated and getting to where you were before actually the advent of Arabic as the lingua franca of the land. You guys really kept the original traditions.
We did. We kept the ancient Israeli traditions, the music, how we spoke, how we prayed, what we wore as well.
Yeah. Can
Mhm.
I, because we're going to do a follow-up for this. Don't worry, everybody.
Absolutely.
We're doing a lot more of this.
Mhm.
Um, can I ask you to tell us, for people who might have been to a synagogue, whether you've been on your own with your family or as a visitor, can you tell us how the religious practice is different? And I was so interested in how much more cathartic it is.
It is. Yeah, there's much more. First of all, it's loud. It's loud. There is like yalla, yalla, yalla everywhere in our synagogue. Yeah. Um, a lot of music, a lot of dance. There's a lot of movement in the praying. Um, yeah, yeah, it's just a little bit more everyone together singing loud. Maybe people might say a little bit more aggressive. Who knows? But whatever. It's whatever you think. Whereas some other synagogues, it's a little bit more reserved. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I was really fascinated how the religious practice changed to be more palatable, probably to the people in whose lands we were trying to not get kicked out of again.
Yep.
And when you had the ability to keep your old traditions, it seems like, I mean, I really encourage everyone to study Oreet's religion's roots, not because I'm trying to convert you, because that's not what we do,
Right.
but because it gives you a sense of the incredible richness of the area and also the catharsis that people are looking for in dance. Seems like it's very strong in the religious practice.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, so my family has been there, for over 2,000 years in Yemen, and they finally came back in the 1800s. One side of my family, and the other side of my family came back in the 1930s, back to their homeland, our homeland, you and I, of Israel. Yeah. So, guys, I just also wanted to say that there are many groups that have been displaced in this world, not just Jewish groups,
That's right.
Christian groups. Islamic groups. I mean, the Holy Inquisition, the Christian tribe. You know, if you didn't follow their church because you wanted to do your own church, you were expelled or confined to restrictions, and everyone felt it. Every,
Everyone, unless you're the Queen of England, basically, everyone has been displaced.
yeah,
And I think since we do have to go soon, I want to give people a preview of what our next conversation will be.
sure.
And we're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 11:15. If we need more time, we might just add another day rather than another time. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, we're so happy to share this. So we're going to be talking about more about the commonalities of people who are in the Israel-Palestine region,
Mhm.
with the language, with religions, with cultural practices, and with the fact that there's several indigenous groups to the same region.
There are.
Don't, it's not a black and white situation, which is also another discussion we're going to have about people of color in the Jewish community and how that is not the same as people of color in the Western world. There's a different way that the Middle Eastern communities are approaching this topic. And so if we as Westerners look at belly dancers in the Middle East and say, well, I'm going to judge them exactly by the exact same ways that we judge things here, it's going to be slightly misinterpreted.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
the other thing we were going to talk about, I think we do want to talk more about some of the other displaced groups
Yep.
that we really see a commonality with, especially in Middle Eastern dance, because we're not here talking about the whole world. We're really talking about the Middle Eastern dance
Yep.
community and how people have been excluding minorities. They're thinking that some of them are excluding minorities because they're being jerks. Some of them, it actually came from a good place because they thought they were defending other minorities,
I know.
but
Right.
they forgot about the other minorities and then the other minorities. Plus, there's more minorities after that.
Of course.
Please
Absolutely.
remember that. So,
Yeah.
what I'm really, really super excited is, hi, Paniota. You are one of the people that we are very excited to talk
Yes.
with. Hopefully, actually have you on as a guest. Because
Yes.
I don't know, everybody needs to follow Panyota. She is a beautiful, gorgeous dancer with so much knowledge. And she and Oreet have had some interesting conversations about the parallels of their experience. One
Mhm.
thing I think that we really want to say is we are both Zionist
Yep.
and we are both pro-Palestinian.
Yeah. Yep.
And we are the majority we're the majority of people on earth. Most people on earth believe that we are all God's children.
Yep.
We're all welcome.
Yep.
We have a beautiful future ahead of us, but we have to build it together. And so there's so many more Panyota. Yeah, there's peace, and that's why I wanted to start with the conversation with the Factfulness Quiz, because if you think that the world is as hopeless as it was 40 years ago, I understand your anger. But if you find out that the world has made so much progress, I'm mystified that you're not more optimistic.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, Oreet, I'm going to let you
Yeah.
close out and talk for as long as you have. Let's give people a preview of how Yemenite culture has made such a huge impact
Yeah.
on belly dance, basically.
Yeah, yeah, Middle Eastern dance for sure. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, so as I said, my family came back to their homeland of Israel, and they were the largest Mizrahi, when I say Mizrahi, Middle Eastern, Mizrahi community, and the first to go back to Israel. So as a result of that, they were able to make an impact on Israeli culture, on their food, their music, their dance, and even their fashion. Later on, other Mizrahi groups like the Moroccans, Iraqi, the Turkish, the Egyptians, the Lebanese all came in. And guess what, guys? They brought in their dance too. They brought in their belly dance. Oh, and they're Jewish.
What?
Guess what? We ain't the new kids on the block because we've been around for a long time. So, what I want to tell you is it's part of our culture too.
Mm-hmm.
Belly dance does not belong to one specific group or these specific countries. It
Right.
also belongs to a new country now.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because these older groups that have belly dance in their country came back to this new country of theirs. Okay,
Right.
so dance community. I would love to see this art form. I would love to see this dance community move forward with this idea. Okay, cool. That we're not the new kids on the block. That we're here to say hi. The Jews are like, "Hi, we do this too. We do this too, and we've been around for a while." And that people made countries and borders. God made people. So what's more important, the borders or the people, guys?
Yeah. I love it. Beautiful statement. Thank you, Pinota. Beautiful statement. Absolutely. Okay, I'm really excited about the next conversation we're going to have. We're going to learn more specifics, going to learn where you fit in. Everyone has a place. Everyone has a place in this dance community, a place where you are loved, where you are respected, where you are valued. The only thing is don't kick other people in the face, whether it's literally or metaphorically. Like, be nice, but everyone, you are all welcome, because Oreet has really made this clear to me. It was my own personal experience, but she's really put it into words, that this dance is your native language.
Mhm.
This is your body's native language. There's lots of different styles. It's just like, ancient Semitic, ancient Phoenician, and then we turned it into the Semitic languages we have today. But we all speak the same root. It's all the same root language. Don't worry so much about the dialects. Try to understand each other. Don't get hung up on the small differences. And we love you. We love the Sharky community. We will be back Wednesday at 11:15 for another conversation. This time we won't have to stop midway. Um, when the recording of the first conversation is available, we're going to put it on the Facebook page so you can see it. I'm going to put in the links. It's such an interesting topic. You could study this for the rest of your life. This is the tip of the iceberg. I basically, once I started researching this, and if anybody wants to talk more with me about it, I can tell you, I discovered a whole world of Arabic Jewry that I wasn't as familiar with. I had heard about it, but man, is it a deep topic.
Very deep.
Very deep. And not just deep in terms of volume, deep in terms of like mind blowing beauty.
Yeah.
Mind blowing beauty. It's a beautiful world. Love you guys. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.